Today, we are going to be talking about dragons. That's right, Fizban Treasury of Dragons is coming out on October 26th, and already we get a sneak peek at the newest subclass, Drakewarden Rangers. So, let's go over all the abilities the Drakewarden Ranger has, as well as some of the playstyles that best suit you. The Drakewarden Ranger is one of the newest subclasses for Fizban Treasury of Dragons. And while very similar to the Beastmaster Ranger, it is wholly different when you look at its playstyles. As gone over in more detail later on in my guide, the Drakewarden Ranger is designed for utility inside combat, while the Beastmaster Ranger is designed for utility outside combat. This leads to a very interesting playstyle where the abilities are designed to stack on each other in such a way to make the Ranger a much more viable companion fighter. The abilities that work off tangent each other are Draconic Gift, Drake's Companion, Bond of Fang and Scale, Dragon's Breath, and Perfected Bond. Let's go over what these are. The first ability you get is Draconic Gift, which states at 3rd level, the bond you share with your Drake creates a connection to dragonkind, granting you understanding and empowering your presence. You gain the following benefits. You learn the Thaumaturgy cantrip, which is a ranger spell for you, and you learn to speak, read, and write Draconic or one other language of your choice. Not much to really say on this one. The Thaumaturgy cantrip is a nice utility cantrip that functions very similar to Minor Illusion. So it's a nice boost to the Drakewarden Ranger's utility. Moreover, gaining an additional language can be very useful for your party, especially if they lack a wizard or it is early or late in a campaign. But there's nothing really to write home about, so this is more of a flavor win than anything. The next ability you get at level 3 is the bread and butter of this class. Starting at 3rd level, this ability allows you, as an action, you can magically summon the Drake that is bound to you. It appears in an unoccupied space of your choice within 30 feet of you. The Drake is friendly to you and your companions, and it obeys your commands. See its game statistics in the accompanying Drake Companion stat block, which uses your proficiency bonus in several places. When you summon the Drake, you choose a damage type listed in its Draconic Essence trait. You can determine the cosmetic characteristics of the Drake, such as its color, its scale texture, or any visible effect of its Draconic Essence. Your choice has no effect on its game statistics. In combat, the Drake shares your initiative count, but takes it immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action. That action can be one in a stat block or some other action. If you are incapacitated, the Drake can take any action of its choice, not just dodge. The Drake remains until it is reduced to 0 hit points, until you use this feature to summon the Drake again, or until you die. Anything the Drake was wearing or carrying is left behind when the Drake vanishes. Once you summon the Drake, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of 1st level or higher to summon it. The basics of the class is identical to the Beastmaster Ranger in a lot of ways, as mentioned before, which is that the companion excels at utility rather than combat. The ability to have a familiar-like creature at your disposal in any situation can be both incredibly versatile and powerful for whatever comes your way. To show this, here are 10 quick ways the Drake Companion can be used to help you out. Keeping pressures on enemies in combat, increase damage output with infused strikes, cause a distraction to let you sneak by, lead the way to detect traps in a dungeon, come up with a way the Drake can give you or a party member advantage, scout out ahead in any situation, and let it report back to you in Draconic, be a guard to let your party sleep, getting flanking advantage if your campaign does that, rescue a party member or civilian in a situation, or create hilarious pranks for situations. While some of these may seem incredibly silly, this took me 5 minutes to come up with some ways to use your Drake Companion, and a lot more will come up when you're playing 4 to 5 hours every single session. Additionally, the ability to have a second body in battle can be incredibly useful, making this a solid utility boost inside and outside of combat. At 7th level, you get access to Bond of Fang and Scale. Bond of Fang and Scale states, the bond you share with your Drake intensifies, protecting you and stoking the Drake's fury. When you summon your Drake, it gains a swimming speed equal to its walking speed, and it can breathe both air and water, or it grows wings on its back and gains a flying speed equal to its walking speed. It's your choice. In addition, while your Drake is summoned, you and the Drake gain the following benefits. Drake mount. The Drake grows to a medium size, reflecting your special bond. You can use the Drake as a mount even if your size is medium. While you are riding your Drake, it can't use the flying speed of this feature, but it can use its swimming speed. Magic Fang. The Drake's bite attack deals an extra 1d6 damage of the type chosen for the Draconic Essence, or Resistance. You gain resistance to the damage type chosen for the Drake's Draconic Essence. The fact that you can give your Drake a flying or swimming speed once a long rest and you get these 3 other benefits, is a huge benefit to the party. The first feature that Bond of Fang and Scale gives you is the choice of giving your Drake a flying or swimming speed once a long rest. 9 out of 10 times you are going to choose flying, as flying is the most powerful mechanic in D&D. With flying, cliffs, broken bridges, and second-story windows that give you access to your girlfriend's room when her parents are home are all obstacles easily overcome. As a result, giving the ability to your companion for flying is going to be more useful than swimming most of the time. The second feature is getting the ability to have a mount. Now, this is a little bit more niche, but it's designed for the mounted combatant feat that a lot of rangers like to use, as well as giving the rangers a needed boost in mobility. After all, not everyone can be a monk or a barbarian with that increased movement speed. Next, we have the 2 combatant features that the Drakewarden Ranger has. These are giving your Drake an additional 1d6 in damage, and giving you a free resistance. At this level, the average monster's hit points are going to be about 155, so dealing an extra 1d6 is not going to be huge in damage. As for resistance, fire is usually your best bet, unless there's a more thematic or situational use that you would like to use it in. Additionally, since this can be changed out every long rest or whenever you resummon your Drake with a spell slot, this adds a lot of versatility to the power that the Drakewarden Ranger can have, making this a great boon for the Ranger's power. The next ability is a solid ability for the combat aspect of a Drakewarden Ranger. This is Drake's Breath, which states, at 11th level, as an action, you can exhale a 30-foot cone of damaging breath or cause your Drake to exhale it. Choose acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage. Your choice does not have to match your Drake's draconic essence. Each creature in the cone must make a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC, taking 8d6 damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one. This damage increases to 10d6 when you reach 15th level in this class, and once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of 3rd level or higher to use it again. By the way, this is my favorite ability the Drakewarden Ranger gets. While not fitting for the utility playstyle that the Ranger has seen so far, this really increases the damage capabilities that a Drakewarden Ranger can do. Gaining a cone of fireball once a day is a huge feature that can create insane damage that only wizards and sorcerers usually could do. Moreover, because this is not a spell, you can do something that the Ranger class usually struggles on using: bonus action spells. The Ranger class has the largest amount of bonus action spells and actions out of any other class. As a result, it usually struggles on being limited to bonus actions and what it can achieve. But because you now have access to a uncounterable, non-spellcasting fireball, you can Drake's Breath as your main action, and then use your bonus action to cast Healing Spirit, Hunter's Mark, or even Lightning Arrow to effectively cast 2 spells in one turn. The ability to use either yourself or the Drake, change the element type, or use it more than once a long rest by expending a spell slot adds tremendous versatility to the use of this ability, making this a solid use for any combat situation. The final ability you get is the 15th level Perfected Bond. Perfected Bond states that your bond with you and your Drake reaches the pinnacle of its power. While your Drake is summoned, you and the Drake gain the following benefits: Empowered Bite. The Drake's bite attack deals an extra 1d6 damage type of the chosen type for its draconic essence, for a total of 2d6 extra damage. Large Drake. The Drake grows to a large size. When you ride your Drake, it is no longer prohibited from using the flying speed of Bond of Fang and Scale. And Reflexive Resistance. When either you or the Drake takes damage while you are within 30 feet of each other, you can use your reaction to give yourself or the Drake resistance to that instance of damage. The final ability is much like the 7th level ability, Bond of Fang and Scale, in that it is designed to increase your attack power, defense capabilities, and utility through the use of your Drake. The ability to now fly with your Drake is a huge boon to the utility you can provide for the party. While more damage is nice, the additional damage comes out to be less than 1% of a tough monster's hit points, making this only really useful against grunts. That said, Reflexive Resistance is really good. Being able to reduce an attack's damage by half every single turn adds a huge amount of survivability that the class sorely lacks. Stack that with your resistances, passive saving throws, or any other way your party can reduce the damage you take, and big AoE attacks that boss monsters are known for can become trivial to you, making you a solid tank for your party. Once you read through the Drakewarden Ranger's abilities, you get a better understanding of how best to use your Drake. The Drake is quite simply a focus for maximizing what your character is trying to do. Need to do more damage? Infused Strikes does a great job at that. Or, if you are trying to increase your survivability, reflexive resistance takes the cake. Even if you just need utility, an extra body with flying, swimming, and a plethora of other uses will help you out immediately. This means the best use of your Drake is to figure out which of these 3 abilities you are trying to maximize with, and use that to make your character the best it can be. As for suggestions for when building and maximizing one of these builds, I suggest taking a look at race, feats, and multi-class options that your ranger can go through. In regards to race, furbolgs make an excellent ranger because of their +2 strength and +1 to wisdom, as well as their other racial traits make this a solid choice for being synergistic with a combat ranger. Meanwhile, Aarakocra make a great utility ranger as they have flying at level 1 as well as a +2 to dex and +1 to wisdom. Finally, a dragonborn or kobold makes a great on-theme ranger due to the dragon synergies that come with it, though it's not the strongest of builds. All in all, the Drakewarden Ranger has a ton of races that are both synergistic and thematic for what the ranger tries to do, leaving a large swath of options for you to choose from to get the most out of your experience. Meanwhile, rangers also need to worry about feats for their class. Since a Drakewarden Ranger does not need their wisdom a whole lot, I recommend going wisdom 16 and a strength or dexterity to 20. After that, I would recommend getting Magic Initiate. The reason why is with Magic Initiate, you can get Find Familiar, and getting an additional familiar for your class just adds an additional tool to your arsenal and your pet companions. Aberrant Dragonmark is a great choice for a roleplay decision, as well as also being great for someone with an odd constitution modifier. Then finally, since you are trying to control the board, I recommend Alert as a combat feat for you, as being able to go first allows you to set up your Drake where you want it to be, as well as being able to effectively use your 11th level ability quicker. The next thing to look at for a Drakewarden Ranger is multi-class potential. For a utility playstyle, nothing beats going Wizard, especially a Graviturgy Wizard, as their level 2 ability is great for Drake manipulation. As for roleplay, the classic is going Draconic Sorcerer, but I think you could probably go 2 to 3 levels in Warlock and also be able to justify that in a thematic standpoint. Meanwhile, the classic going 1 to 3 levels in Fighter is a great choice, as it gives you a lot of fighter synergies, as well as giving you Action Surge, which goes great with your class. Not only does the Ranger show a lot of multi-class options for it, but it also shows that there's a ton of versatility in fitting your play style of how you would like to play. In conclusion, the Drakewarden Ranger I think is going to be a great class many will love that's going to come out of the Fizban Treasury of Dragons. While it first has a lot of the utility a Beastmaster Ranger does, I think its later level abilities help it to be more of a combat utility playstyle. Meaning that unlike the Beastmaster Ranger who focuses on an outside combat utility, this one should focus more on helping you out in combat. Overall, I think this definitely fits the niche that many players were looking for with the lack of enthusiasm the Beastmaster Ranger had. As a result, if you keep these abilities in mind, I think you'll have a blast playing this. If you're looking for a good guide, I highly recommend getting my Character, Classes, and You book. Not only does it go over great ways to build better characters, but it even goes over some unique things that no one talks about that I find really helps in your playstyle experiences. Or you can support me by buying Fizban Treasury of Dragons in my link down below. It's a great way to support my channel and help me make more videos for you all. I hope you have a wonderful day, and may all your rolls be natural.